And it's always so weird because I always want to not say anything until I see the video pop up on YouTube. But I
Right.
forget that, like, I mean, it starts recording as soon as you hit that. You know what I mean? Just kind of throws you off that little delay in there.
Yeah, I see about a 7 second delay right there.
Yeah, but it's cool though. But for now, since we got what's that? Okay, just got an alert saying there's a video on my channel, which is crazy to me. But all right, cool. Looks like we are good, so we can go ahead and get everything started and whatnot. I'm gonna sit here. Let's see. SummerSlam was this past Sunday.
Right.
It had a decent card, so we'll cover that just a little bit because overall, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot to really talk about, in my opinion. I
Right.
mean, I don't know what you think, but like, how much of this particular SummerSlam did you see on Sunday?
I mean, I seen a good 75% of it. I would say my highlighted match was probably the Dominic versus Seth Rollins match. That was probably a decent solid match. I just wanted to see how his debut was gonna be.
Yeah.
I do feel like they could have played a little more on the storyline, a little bit more. And also the finish, I feel like Seth wouldn't have lost much with a loss on that one. But I get the direction that they went with it.
That's true. And looking past who won or lost or whatever, I I do like the way they played the finish, though. If that's who
Right.
they wanted Seth to go over, I think I think he went like the route that they went. I think it was perfect because it adds more to it if they want to expand on this story. You
Right.
know what I mean? Where they go from here, I don't really know. Maybe some kind of different stipulations to the match,
Right.
but just the way that last 2 minutes played out was pretty solid. Who else was on there? I I don't
Um.
remember Bailey versus Asuka all that
Yeah,
much.
I remember that match.
I I know that Bailey won, and that's what I remember of it. Same with like the Street Profits versus Andrade and Garza.
I completely forgot about that match.
That's another one because I'm just reading this off of Wikipedia. Like that one doesn't stand out. Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville was a
Right.
hardcore match or something like that. Nothing about that is memorable to me.
It felt
Um,
rushed.
yeah, the Asuka versus Sasha match.
Hmm.
That one, I don't. I mean, I remember being happy with the outcome of it. I just don't remember exactly what it was, honestly. But it was at the same time, it's one of those things where I had told McFly like a couple days ago, like, well, I'm sure Sasha's gonna lose because she always loses when it comes to SummerSlam. And
She always
hey,
loses. Yes.
Alias, what's going on, man? Alias just stopped in to
What's
say
going
what
on?
up. No, yeah, our phone call got cut short the other day, man. Like, cause his phone went out on him, but it was getting late anyway. But yeah, we definitely got to catch up again sometime. Please be sure to go over there, check out his channel and everything. Your boy Alias, it's out there on YouTube and Instagram. But yeah, man, like that. Sasha has not had a good run for the last couple years, however long it's been
Right.
since she left NXT. And then
Uh, I mean, they're really playing off of that. She could win them, but she can't defend them. Uh, Plot with her.
that is very true. Like I just don't even get it because there was a lot of those reigns were
30
short.
days. Yeah,
Like
less than 30 days.
yeah, because I think she's probably had a few reigns that still doesn't even equal up to what some of the lower end reigns were at a single go. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that what it was that Charlotte Flair feud. I
Hmm.
think what she had 3 title reigns within that one feud, which was only what 2 months or so.
And then you look at it, it's like part of that is them trying to build up Charlotte, obviously,
Right.
right? And it makes her title reigns have less prestige.
Right. Because I think at that time Charlotte wasn't losing any pay-per-views at the time. So like every exchange that her and Charlotte had, she would win it on Raw, but she would lose it at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so that
I
was
think she
with Sasha.
I think she even lost like on Raw like at least once too.
I think
But
that was against Alexa Bliss.
shoot, I mean, you could put any name in there, honestly.
Right.
You know what I mean? She is like the she's like that pivot point for the title, basically.
She's the rock of the women's division, because the Rock didn't have lengthy reigns as well.
Yeah, I never noticed that, but yeah. Because I mean, but in his case, and just at one point you could have argued the same for Sasha, but
Right.
some people don't need the title reigns or the title at all to stay relevant, right?
Right.
It helps for some people, but in her case, totally would probably help her maybe not lose so much, but I don't know. But anyways, another mostly forgettable match that is really just there to kind of add another layer to this thing between her and Bayley.
Right.
So I'm guessing they'll probably play that out till WrestleMania, maybe Royal Rumble, something like that.
I would love to see how they could stretch that.
I mean, the thing is, so that is a good question, right? But at the same time, and I didn't think about this until a couple of weeks ago when I was watching something. So when Kane debuted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between the time when his name first came up and when he came out on Raw, a lot of time passed.
Right.
Between when he debuted at Hell in a Cell and they had the match at WrestleMania, was that like 6 months?
Yeah, that was about what was September, and about 6 months.
Yeah, so they can do it. Like it's possible, but they got to be on their A game if they want to make it happen, you know?
Right.
But and then what was next? Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton.
Personally, it was a solid match. I wouldn't say it was the best match on the card, but it was definitely a solid match. The result, I pretty much figured it was gonna be Drew winning. I didn't see them putting Randy over on Drew like this soon.
Yeah.
But I mean, the build-up was more exciting than the match for the most part for me.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would like to see them in it because I think they could do this to the point where Randy does win it, right? And I honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Right.
What's this? Okay, and I wouldn't mind seeing that honestly, but like you said, it's a little early. I don't remember much about the match, but just knowing what I know of them, I feel like this was probably one of those kind of feeling out matches where you have it and then it just builds up, you know.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think they want to go the direction of taking the title off him like this soon, because I think Vince really got a lot of stock right now at this moment.
Right.
So I think he kind of does want to play off of that for a little while. Yeah,
especially since like it's his first reign and like he's been building up to it like even longer if you really think about it.
Right.
They probably want it to last at least through some time when people are able to see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that'd be, in my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would kind of suck to go through there, win the title where no one can see it, and then lose it before anybody can see it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then, but in the end, I think they could pull out a good match just between the two of them and their skill. But what'd you see on the Fiend and Braun Strowman match?
Okay, the Fiend and Braun Strowman match was pretty much a street fight for the most part.
Yeah.
or a hardcore match, however you want to put it. It was better than that swamp match they had. Way better, like because the cinematic stuff is getting old. It's starting to lose its luster now. So
they're overdoing it. But I mean, we'll come back to that in a second. But as far as this went,
but I'll say this: too soon to take the belt off of Braun. but I'm not mad that it's that's Bray that has it. I'm not mad with that.
Yes.
But I feel like it was a drastic change y'all going with Braun's character, and I feel like y'all need to kind of expound on that. If he's gonna be this monster that y'all trying to make him be, you should have probably kept the title on him and let him like explore that route with being that.
At least build up to it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because like when he won it, he's like the power guy, right?
Right.
But if you want him to have the aggression too, then that's when you gotta knock that out.
Right.
Hey, Chris, what's going on, man? Yeah, this was one of the guys that I was talking about a while ago. And then, you know, subscribe to it. He knows a thing or two about a thing or two, meaning he's an eye of the guy. So you gotta support that. And it looks like Jezzy just fell out of the panel for some reason. I don't know what happened with that. I'm sure he'll be back in a minute. So Chris, appreciate you stopping by and all that good stuff. Always do. There he is. Get him back in here.
Sorry, it has some technical difficulty.
Yeah, I saw that. I was talking to myself for a second there. But yeah, saying that Chris just jumped in the chat for a second there.
Going on, Chris?
As you see the Hawkeyes there, got to support that. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, they have Braun Strowman and they build him up from being just like the strong guy to the aggressive monster type guy.
Right.
That's kind of what you need, right?
Right.
And then they brought in Roman Reigns at the end, and it's like they had him with all the aggression. It's like you need to bring some of that out of some other people, you know, otherwise the match falls flat.
Right. I mean, I hope this doesn't just drop Braun back down to like this mid card beat jobbers up every week type of wrestler. That I'm not trying to see that right now. I think he's earned his place right now to like continuously be at that top spot right now instead of just throwing in some obscure match right now.
Yeah, right.
Like I said, I'm not mad with the result. I'm not mad with the result of the match. I'm just mad at the process of like storytelling with Braun, because I mean you got the Alexa Bliss thing going on. You got too many angles going on now. Kind of like could get thrown away at any given moment.
Right. So I am curious if, because sometimes I wonder if they have a long-term plan or if it's just like, wait, let's do this right now, or let's do this, and it's just kind of like a week to week sort of thing. Because sometimes it feels that way. But like you said, though, Fiend winning, I am definitely on board with that. I mean, he was. I think that they shouldn't have taken it off of him when they did, and that really just didn't. Everything that happened between him losing it and him winning it kind of just didn't matter whatsoever.
Right.
Because you kind of saw this playing out, how it did play out, and all the last however many months it's been, because he lost it to Goldberg, and then Goldberg lost it to him, and then he lost it. Yeah, so, and I feel like a good portion of the reign that Strowman had was battles against Bray Wyatt in some form or fashion.
Right.
So, I'm curious to see what happens. And did you catch SmackDown? Because I guess
yeah, I caught probably the last hour of SmackDown.
Okay, so now that Heyman is somewhat involved, that adds a bit of interest.
I think they're
Man, he fell out again, huh? But yeah, so for anybody who's listening, yeah, so Heyman is now on the side of Roman Reigns, kind of took him under his wing, or however you want to look at that. So I guess Brock Lesnar is out of the picture for a while, maybe. I really don't know. Oh, here comes Jezzy back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess Roman Reigns is
a Paul Heyman guy now.
And it's like, is this going to be like that time when Heyman didn't leave Brock Lesnar, but he somehow was also associated with Cesaro? Remember that? It lasted for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and also what feels like CM Punk all over again. Brock left, he got with CM Punk. And then yeah, you're right. Look, I forgot all about the Cesaro thing.
Yeah, it's like because when he got with Cesaro, people were like, okay, Cesaro's got the talent for sure. Like people like him already.
Right.
All he needs is Heyman out there to support him.
Mm-hmm.
And then it didn't go anywhere. It was like, what just happened here? You know?
Right. I mean, like I said, I'm liking the storyline so far, and it's not like we haven't been asking for a heel turn for Roman Reigns for quite some time. I kind of feel like this is probably the best way to do it. Brock's not in the picture. We need this. You know, he's not really a talker. Roman is not the best talker. Let's just be real about
No, after that Cena interaction.
Yeah. So I mean, Paul Heyman being in his corner, and it makes sense. Heyman the talker. He could also play on look what I did for Brock, look what I could do for you. Ask your cousin The Rock. Like, you know, there's so many possibilities they could go with this.
Right. And I do kind of wonder, like, are they going to go with a full-on heel turn? Because I could see if they played like the middle ground, you know what I mean? Where like Austin,
heel, like a soft turn.
Yeah, like kind of how Austin wasn't a bad guy, but he wasn't, you know, like the model employee either, right. You know. You just kind of work in the middle area. Right. Optimistic, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming back. Just sitting here talking about right now we're catching up on this past SummerSlam from Sunday, but in a few minutes here we're going to start talking about the older ones from like the 90s and early 2000s. But yeah, it's one of those things. There's a lot of ways it could play out, but they definitely have people's interest. So now they just got to hold on to it.
Right. I mean, like I said, I'm cool with the direction. I'm cool with is just the process I have. Like, I don't want you to just, okay, he's here. Like, build the story up, let it organically grow, and then we could like give us at least, because this could be potentially what, a 3 to 6 month feud with 3 guys.
Yeah, depending on how they want to play it.
Right.
So it's got some layers to it, which is a good thing. But so
I forgot about the retribution angle. I forgot about them too.
Oh yeah, that's they need to do something. But one thing before we do switch back to like the older days ones. So what we're kind of talking about with the cinematic matches, they are a little bit, in a way, I don't know if it's because it's overdone or if they just aren't putting the same effort into it as the Boneyard match.
Right.
But they aren't leaving people with the same result. They don't have that same impact on people watching them. So they either need to stop for a while, kind of like when they were doing Hell in a Cell a couple times a year, or at least every year, or Elimination Chamber. It's like, if you have these spectacles, you got to leave them as spectacles, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, I think other than the Boneyard match, every cinematic match has been Bray Wyatt or someone, like, it's pretty much been Bray Wyatt in every cinematic match. The Ultimate Deletion, the Wyatt family versus New Day.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, and the Swamp match, him and Braun, like every one that we've had in WWE has been Braun featured in it.
Yeah.
And even Randy Orton and Braun. When he I forgot that match. Randy Orton and Braun Strowman's sister Abigail, something like that. Abigail.
I remember what you're talking about. Appreciate that, Chris. And it'll show up in a second. Supporting the cause. But yeah, we'll have to see how it all plays out. But so switching over to like the older ones, right? So the one that stands out the most to me when you talk about past SummerSlams, hands down, it's going to be 97, right? For one, was the first one that I ever saw. Right, I had just got into wrestling like 3 months before that. So that was that has that kind of significance for me. But going back and looking at it today, it's like that had a lot of stuff going on because there was the Mankind versus Triple H Big Blue Steel Cell match, whatever you want to call that. There was Owen Hart destroying Austin's neck, which had a impact that lasted years later.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Undertaker versus Bret Hart for the title, where Shawn Michaels caused him to lose it to Bret.
Right.
So, yeah, it had a whole lot of parts to it. That was like that's when you looked at it and like, okay, they are clearly setting up something.
Right.
I mean, Triple H and Mankind, that went for years.
Right.
That wasn't just one of those they feuded for a couple months.
Yeah, that was a long, lengthy thing there with those two.
What's funny about those 900 numbers and stuff? Like, I was watching something on the WWE Network a while ago, and it was one of those 90s pay-per-views, early 90s, and they had the thing where like, oh, call the hotline and hear all the news, and then they had to put up a message across the bottom of the screen like, hotline number has been inactivated. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, I don't think anybody's even considering calling these numbers anymore.
You never know. They gotta blur that number out so nobody can see it.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy though, But let's see. So the first part of that, the Triple H and Mankind, it was a pretty solid match. Nothing amazing, but Mankind, he did that thing where he climbed over the cage because that's how you won back then.
Right.
And then he was like, he's about to jump down. And then he climbed back up to the top, hit him with the elbow drop, after taking off his mask, which to me, I was like, man, like, he took his mask off. I didn't realize how everything about wrestling worked and that everybody knew who he really was.
Right.
But me. But yeah, man. And then he hit that and still managed to win, which is crazy because Mankind, his win streak is not amazing.
Right.
He's won some key matches, but he isn't known for winning.
Yeah, he's not known for winning matches. Like,
right.
Is it a DQ or some kind of enhancement match they usually used to call it for somebody else.
And then what did Optimistic say? Do Love? Yeah, Do Love was probably my favorite of the three forms of Foley. I mean, at least for that time frame. Now I do appreciate Cactus Jack more and Mankind because of, looking back at it and seeing like the mic side of it.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely has some impact. But for entertainment though, it had to be Dude Love, because he could joke around, he'd still win matches from time. Dude Love probably had the better winning record.
He was aggressive if he needed to be.
Yeah, you didn't realize how goofy looking he was.
Right.
Yeah. I saw, like, when I recently watched something that had Dude Love in it, and I was like, man, that is a goofy dude. But it works, he's out there, he's like trying to talk, like trying to sound hip, but it still be a joke.
Right. And
dancing with these ladies that clearly would normally have no interest in him.
Gotta love 90s wrestling, man.
Yep. And then, of course, back when The Undertaker could still move like he moves, like he moved. Man, that was... And if you go back and watch it, it's... how over time he started, like, he'd raise his arms and, like, the lights would come on.
Mm-hmm.
But earlier he would just kind of, like, throw them out, like, and then they hit that crash.
And that loud pop.
It seemed like that pop really scared Bret Hart when he was doing his intro. But I mean, he could have just been selling it. I don't know, but that was that was a pretty good moment though. Just watching them work, like I appreciate Bret Hart more now that I've grown a little bit and know he's
Right.
not just some dude that hates America.
Right.
Oh man, yeah, Mankind without the mask. Yeah, it's weird when you see that face and then yeah, it's just weird. It's very weird. But let's see. And then yeah, and then Shawn Michaels and they set up the whole Kane thing and all this later. But what about you? What's because I know you got some memories too of other SummerSlams and go back and forth.
We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. It was the pivotal one was for me was 2002 because just what we was talking about a little while ago. It didn't feature Austin like in most of the heavy players that was in the company at the time. Like it was The Rock. The main event was Rock, Brock Lesnar. Like this is pre-internet, all that other stuff. So it was kind of like Rock was leaving and all this other stuff, and we had this. This was the first year of the brand extension and all kind of other stuff. So I feel like that was setting the tone for what was about to happen for the next like pretty much the current right now. Because but like I said, it was a solid pay-per-view. Like not everything knocked it out the park, but it was a solid pay-per-view overall.
Yeah, and 2002 SummerSlam because that one also had HBK versus Triple H when he came back from injury or whatever. Because I had that written down as well, but that was the first pay-per-view that I ordered after a long time. Because I think the one before that, the last one that I had ordered was probably like the one like Over the Edge 98, something like that. Yeah, it'd been a while, you know.
Oh man, Over the Edge. In your house, Over the Edge, and
yeah,
but Undertaker versus Test and that one, and who else was featured? That was Mysterio's debut pay-per-view.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, the 2002, like, and he's still on there, like, as a regular member. You know what I mean? Like, not just pops up once in a while. Like, he is a part of the show.
Right.
This is kind of crazy to me, you know, that especially when you think about him and like the injuries he's had, because like you know his style and his knees and whatnot.
Yeah, Mysterio's knees got to be shredded by now, man.
Yeah, they must be like full on mechanical or something. But yeah, 2002 that was definitely a good one. What else was there? So one that I have written down, like not too far after that, 3 years after that, Hulk Hogan versus HBK at SummerSlam in 2005.
I had that one too.
Yeah, that man, like I meant to rewatch that match today, but let me hear what all you have because I know you had. If you had that whole thing written down, you probably got some thoughts.
I'm gonna just say this. I don't know if Shawn just wasn't for this match or whatever the case may be. He just completely no-sold. Either he no-sold or he oversold everything in that match. So it was just
man, that was he was all over the place. Just you know, you hit him with a punch and he is falling over the ring.
He's flopping around like a fish.
Yeah, I'm just like, this dude, like, what is he doing? Why can't I pin this?
And it wasn't Hulk Hogan's best. Well, not that I was looking for it to be his best showing because you know the hip replacement and all that other stuff. I don't think it should have happened. I'm gonna just be real. That match shouldn't have happened. That was the equivalent of Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Kane in that whole tag team match that happened in Arabia.
All right, see you later, Chris. But yeah, that there was a fair amount of things happening around that time. And then Shawn was always. I guess you just never know what you're gonna get with him. You know what I mean?
I mean, what he no-sold Drew McIntyre Randy Orton punting him in the head. So
because that was still in his, because he's always been very much untouchable. You know what I mean? Like that guy who can kind of do whatever and not get fired.
Right.
Let's see. I was trying to see if I could pin this thing here, but nope. Guess that option is not there. But yeah, I remember watching that because I think I watched it later. I don't think I saw it live. And then people were talking about how crazy he was acting in it. And
Right.
you know when people tell you something, sometimes they kind of make it sound over the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that it would just be like, okay, well, maybe he just was a little too animated at times. No, he was. It's like you throw him to the ropes, he falls over. He's falling over the guardrail all of a sudden, and all you did was throw him to the turnbuckle.
Right.
But yeah, I do enjoy watching that from time to time. At least some little clips of it. But what else? What other ones did you have down?
I had the Eddie Guerrero Dominic match. Eddie Guerrero Rey Mysterio match as well. That was a good match as well.
Which year was that?
That was 2006. That was actually 2006. That was a highlight match for me though.
Because I know I've seen. I'm not going to say I've seen all their matches because I know they've had a handful of them, especially on pay-per-view.
Right.
But I can't think of which ones are which because I know there was.
It was a ladder match.
Is that
a ladder match?
Because I know there's one that's kind of like undersold. You know what I mean? Like under talked about or underrated. That's the word I want to use.
Right.
But because there's like a WrestleMania match that everybody looked forward to, but doesn't compare to. Maybe it's this match that you brought up.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the ladder match for the custody of Dominic.
Man, it's crazy to look at that. Like now he is like, however old he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Like they just completely like skewered his age. Like how old is he?
That's. But wasn't there. Didn't they do like a custody thing in WCW too, or maybe it was just?
No, I think it was just WWE for the custody battle.
Yeah, maybe it was a mask thing. I don't know. I feel like him and Guerrero had something going on.
Yeah,
not a title, but just something.
Yeah, what it was. Kevin Nash had the mask thing with Rey Mysterio. I think that was one thing, and then like whatever Rey Mysterio and Eddie was going through with, like, I don't know what that was.
Mysterio, because I remember Mysterio lost his mask, and so did what's his name, Juventud.
Yeah,
Juventud should have kept his on. He looked like he had that pretty boy look to where he looked like he was like 15 or something. And it's like that's all right.
Him and Ray suffered from that. Like,
yeah,
they both look like teenagers at the time. Still
basically. But yeah, that was 2006. Okay, getting little later in there. But one.
Yeah, I don't think anything past. I have nothing past 2008.
Okay, yeah, me neither. Like my 05 was like the latest one that I had thrown in there, but
yeah.
But taking a step back, like a good while back from there, I guess maybe like 15 years or something. 1993, Lex Luger versus Yokozuna. So now I wasn't following wrestling at this point, right? So this particular one didn't really stand out to me, and I heard about it through Jim Cornette talking about Lex Luger, right? And just like the star power and how he was and blah, blah, blah. And how this was a key moment in that he had been built up so much going into that match. Like everybody was behind him. He was like the face of America. You know what I mean? And I think this was after he had like become the first person to body slam Yokozuna or something, even though it was not really quite a body slam. But he went out there. They had the match, and it wasn't very good because I mean, I didn't notice before, but neither person is that good wrestling wise. But at that point in '93, you only needed to do so much.
Right.
But the match ends, and one way or another, Luger won by countout, right? And people were celebrating in the ring and stuff as if he had won the title. And it's like, okay, that's a little weird to me, making this big deal out of this win that essentially does nothing for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, apparently nothing happened for Luger whatsoever. Like as far as any kind of push into like the high
Right.
end of the card until probably WCW.
Right.
Because I mean, I know I don't know how long he stayed with WWF at the
I think
time.
it was 5 years, maybe probably 7.
Because wait, when did Nitro start? Because didn't he come out on like the first episode or something like that?
Nitro was 94, 95. I think it was 95.
Because there was an episode of Nitro, and you probably remember this. Like it took place in a mall, and
Yeah.
and Luger came, like the Mall of America or something.
Yeah.
And that was when Luger made his debut.
I do remember that.
Because it was like he was still, well, he wasn't under a contract with WWF, and that was why he was able to just kind of leave last minute.
Right.
So I think he probably had a match with them maybe 1 week, and then the next week's like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Yeah, I'm out.
And that was it. Just moved on. Well, you could do that back then, Now they like sign these things, and it's like you sign up for 4 or 5, or if you're Undertaker, 40 years. And then they have like the 90-day clause at the end.
Right. Apparently, Rey Mysterio been wrestling without a contract for like 5 months.
And I mean, I guess if his son is there, they probably, just going by the honor system. I don't know what kind of deal his son has, but he's probably at least agreed to be there for that long. Yeah, I put the link in the chat in case anybody wanted to join, but
I think Jericho the same way.
Wouldn't let me pin it though, which is weird. Normally it does. I wonder what that's all about. Are you able to pin links in the chat?
You should be able to, yeah.
No, I mean you, because you're a moderator, right? I think.
No, I can't. I can't pin them.
Oh, yeah. I tried to. It just doesn't work. But
now I could delete them if I have to, but I can't pin them.
Okay. What was the last thing I had said? I kind of forgot because I was looking at that.
Oh, we were talking about cross-brand jumping ship.
Oh yeah, and because like with who was it? Was the Medusa?
Yeah.
Right. She did it. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, I think they did too.
Yeah, I think
Rick Rude. Of course, everybody remembers him being on Nitro and Raw on the same night. But yeah, I can see why they do that now. Just
the birth of the 90-day clause.
Yeah. But yeah, just looking back at how that played out in the '93, it's it sucked for Luger that he was. So I guess you look at it and you still see that kind of stuff happening today. I mean,
right.
People talk about how Booker T should have won the belt or I don't know if it was for the belt, but he should have beat Triple H at a WrestleMania and stuff like that.
I was just looking at that.
And because I don't remember when that was, because I was in and out of things for a little while. But apparently I missed some good moments. And another one that I did mean to watch around that same old time frame was Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect from the SummerSlam '92.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you hear about a match like that, it just sounds it's got to be good. You know what I mean?
Right.
From a technical aspect of it.
Right.
I don't know who was the face, who was the heel, if there was a title involved, but it's one of those ones that's talked about a lot. He said you got family cooking in the. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. See, yeah. Over here we got rain that it looks like it's gonna rain, but it's at least making it cool. so that's fine with me.
Not
But
to hear.
yeah, what other years did you have written down?
It was what it was. That was 2006. No, that was 2004 as well. It was Randy Orton versus Chris Benoit.
Man, sometimes it's like that's a match that I wouldn't have, now I don't remember watching it, but that's a match that as I think about it now, sounds like it could have been really good, but I never would have put it together in my mind.
But it was overall. It was a good match. It was just kind of like, wow, y'all really took the belt from Chris Benoit after all the momentum he had from WrestleMania on. And excuse me, usually they do that. Usually they take titles off for like rating reasons, but they didn't have a ratings problem at the time. So I don't know why they took the belt off of Benoit at that particular time.
That is kind of weird. I mean, but again, I know they aren't always known for making the best decisions, but what was? Oh, no problem. I know they aren't always known for making the best decisions, but sometimes you really just got to wonder what they're doing. But man, Benoit, and wait, let me look up the card real quick. You said it was 2000 what? 2004 you said, or what?
No, I could repeat that. I'm sorry about that.
No, I was saying like which year SummerSlam was that?
Let me see. Was it 2005?
I mean, I can look it up. Orton, Benoit. Okay, yeah, I guess it was summer 04.
04, okay, gotcha.
Because I just wanted to see what all else was on the card. So, as far as the main card, like the Dudley Boys versus Billy Kidman, Paul London, and Rey Mysterio. That's odd. Kane versus Matt Hardy.
Yeah,
so it was part match. I don't even know what that
was means. The leader. That was that leader angle.
Oh, okay. Let's see. John Cena, Booker T. All right, that first in the best of 5. Remember that best of 7 he did with Benoit, Booker T?
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was good. That's one of the earliest memories I have of WCW. Let's see. Edge versus Batista and Chris Jericho. Could be okay. Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero. That had to be good.
Yeah, that was actually a good match.
Triple H versus Eugene. I question why it went 14 minutes. JBL versus Undertaker. Okay. Yeah, so this again, looking back at it, I don't know anything about why these matches were happening, but it looks like one of those ones where it could have been solid, even if none of this stuff really meant anything.
Right.
Who's Luther Reigns? Why does that name sound familiar? That
was Kurt Angle's assistant.
Yeah, but I just the name sounded familiar. That like I would recognize him from recent times or something. Nah, not at all. I have no idea who that man is. But yeah, SummerSlam 04, that one's, I can see that, being enjoyable, right? Like if you, especially back then before the ratings and people just didn't care,
Right.
And let's see, what was another one that stood out for me? So let me pull up the card. 1998. The main match was, the main event was Undertaker versus Stone Cold.
Okay.
So one of the things that I forget which one of them said it, but it was during Undertaker's time on the Stone Cold podcast, right?
Right.
And he was saying that, they both agreed that they enjoyed working together, but that they didn't really have the best matches. They weren't bad.
Right.
But they weren't matches that people would say, like, dude, you got to go back and watch Undertaker versus so-and-so, like at Royal Rumble, it's this good. Or you got to go back and watch Stone Cold versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania, what, 13 or something?
Right.
Like, nobody was saying that about their matches. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they enjoyed having them.
I think
So,
I think Jim Ross recently spoke on that. He was talking about it was just usually putting baby faces versus another baby face. And I think they didn't originally want that match to happen because it was two faces facing each other.
yeah, I remember hearing that too. I don't remember where, but or the details, but there was something about it that, but they went with it, you know.
Right.
Now later on, because I do remember watching again Over the Edge '98, right,
Mm-hmm.
where it was those two again for the title, the one where Owen Hart passed away.
Right.
You know, thinking about that now, it's like, so
And they said that wasn't their best match.
yeah, I couldn't imagine anybody having their best match that night. At least not, especially not immediately after something like that.
Right.
But it's kind of weird to think like, Undertaker's been around. He's probably seen a lot of things. But so at SummerSlam, he had to wrestle right after Austin got like paralyzed, basically. And then a year later, he's wrestling right after a man dies in the ring. Like that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm quite sure him and Steve probably didn't seen it all, especially
Yeah, I can.
that steroid era.
Oh man, yeah. But for them to both have made it through, I mean, because I know neither of them were ever really associated with like the steroid use and all that stuff, but
Right.
still, just for them to have made it as long as they did. I know Austin's time was kind of cut short on account of the whole neck thing, but Undertaker, like especially him being as big as he was and being able to like in the types of matches he had,
Right.
especially.
But Undertaker said something in a recent interview about how he was already having like hip and leg issues like when he debuted in 1990. So that's another thing in itself for him to last this long with that same type of injury.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. I mean, because I don't know how long he'd been wrestling before that, right? But just looking at it and thinking, okay, this guy is 6'10", like 300 and whatever pounds. Like, I mean, I get like, it might be a proportional size if you're that tall. I don't know, but like, it's a lot of weight to
Right.
be on your frame, regardless, right?
Yeah, and when he was me and Mark, he was doing a flying elbow like that Xavier Woods flying elbow where he walks the rope and then does the elbow drop.
Huh. See,
So,
and then you combine that with the fact that a lot of it is also going to be muscle because he's, you got to stay in shape and stuff. So he's going to be that much heavier.
right.
So every one of those, even like watching him do just the when you walk the ropes and like do that little arm thing and hit you in the shoulder or whatever.
Right.
Like even that, I'm just like, man, doing that almost every day for 15, 20 years, that's got to add up alone. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just doing that move. So for him to still be going out there and diving over the ropes up until
What was that WrestleMania? Probably about 4 years ago.
because
4 years ago.
it wasn't that long ago. I mean, I remember him doing it at the second, what do you call it, match at WrestleMania with Shawn Michaels.
Right.
But even still, I mean, it was not uncommon for him to do stuff like that.
Right.
And then, of course, picking up everybody.
Yeah.
You got like that whole strain on your back, dealing with the Big Show, Mark Henry, Kane, whatever other giants, because you always got to have those giant matches. You know what I mean?
Great Khali.
Right. Then,
which I don't think he ever really like truly tried to pick him up. Like,
I saw a little thing on YouTube today. I think it was on YouTube. Like, you know how they always try to tell you to watch stuff, whatever that's relevant to your interest.
Yeah.
They're like, watch this. You know, happy birthday to Great Khali. Watch him destroy other superstars. Like, did he really? I don't really.
He has a good record.
I mean, I remember him having like he had the Punjabi death match with like Randy Orton, right?
No, I think they canceled that and put Big Show in that one.
Oh, you know what? I do remember something like that. How it was weird having somebody in a match that has nothing to do with the match.
Right.
Well,
That was
well, I don't know if I have any memories of the Great Khali.
That was
Other than like being with. Didn't he have? I want to say he had something going on with Beth Phoenix or Santino.
Yeah.
Maybe both.
I think that was real brief. I think that was Royal Rumble where Beth Phoenix eliminated him or something like that.
Yeah, he was. I don't know. It was one of those cases where, like, from what I understand, right, they had him because he was big in India.
Right.
And so they brought him in, you know, because it's like, hey, let's, you know, have a good, diverse roster. And so they had him there, and he was, I mean, did he bring in any fans? Probably. You know what I mean?
Right.
He probably didn't sell many tickets, though, which is a bit of a difference.
Well, I mean, if he was big in India, I'm quite sure they profited off of that in some shape, way, or form. But
yeah.
Who was it? I mean, he had a decent track record. I mean, he's won a match over Batista, Kane, Undertaker, a few battle royals. So I mean, he has a good streak of wins.
I wonder if I'm trying to see if he had any, like, but okay, he did have he was a title holder. I don't remember who he beat. Let's see.
It was a battle royal.
Oh, okay. And then that was it, as far as at least there. And right. Even looking at other places, I guess in some smaller organization, Continental Wrestling Entertainment, wherever that is. So, yeah, he was kind of like, well, I don't want to say he was like Jinder Mahal, because Jinder Mahal actually, like, he could hold his own, you know? Right. But he was there partially to kind of like appeal to a certain fan base, you know what I mean? And they had him as the champ for a while, even before and after their overseas tours, you know? But then when he lost it, like, that was it. They just put him to the side. And I don't remember. I know he was on TV not that long ago.
Yeah, it was recent.
But even then, he was just there. He popped up and like, it's Jinder Mahal. It's like, we're former heavyweight champions. Okay, you can say that about a lot of people at this point.
But I mean, what are they doing with Sheamus right now?
And I only know this because I happened to see some of SmackDown last night. He is going into something with big. Isn't there a pay-per-view tomorrow?
Yeah, Payback.
That is the strangest.
And they've changed the match of that because it was originally supposed to be the rematch, Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Now it's Keith Lee and Randy Orton.
Okay. All right. I'm going to come back to that Keith Lee thing in a minute because I have some thoughts on that. And I have some thoughts on this pay-per-view schedule. But Sheamus. Okay. I don't know about you, right? Like, I've got no problems with Sheamus. I'm not going to say I'm a fan of him.
Right.
But I can watch his matches because I know that they're usually all right. His time with Cesaro, that was solid too. So I've got no issues with him. But it's like, it's weird how he's one of those inconsistent guys as well, you know?
Right.
And I get not everybody can be in the spotlight all the time. But he just kind of falls way out of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and then it's to the point where if you added his name to the conversation, it's like, why are you bringing him into this? Like you look at Eddie Guerrero, right? Eddie Guerrero could go months without a title or title shot or whatever, doing whatever it is he's doing.
Right.
But he's still going to be like, if somehow he pops up in like an intercontinental tournament or something, you're not going to question it. You're like, okay, cool. Right. Yeah, good. But if Sheamus jumps in, you're like, where's he been? You know? But that, it is what it is. But
I think they still have some wrestlers that could like legit be in that kind of in that realm. I mean, I put Sheamus. Me personally, I would put Sheamus in there because former Intercontinental Champion, WWE and World Heavyweight.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah, but it's like we haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like your first thought is going to be like, wait, why? If he's here, why not Dolph Ziggler? Right. You're going to think stuff like that.
Well, that's a different case. I'm like, you lose a match for 27 weeks out of a year, and like you don't need to be in that tournament.
Dolph must have one solid contract. Like, because if he's, I mean, I get it, like the winning and losing isn't everything to some people, but I just feel like if I was him, I'd want to be in a better position.
Right.
Like if I know that I'm so good, which he is really good, like I would kind of expect to be used in a different way.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what it is, but they've got their mind set on other things. But so I don't know what all is going on this pay-per-view tomorrow, because I kind of forgot that was even happening. But this kind of reminds me of, like, remember when there was like the brand split and it seemed like they were doing multiple pay-per-views a month?
Yeah.
And even at that point, it was like, man, this is a bit much, don't you think? Like,
yeah, what it was, I'm trying to remember the name of that pay-per-view. They had a pay-per-view that Sunday, and then they turned around and had another pay-per-view that Tuesday.
See, and it's things like that I just don't get. Because I remember I want to say that there was one year where they did like a total of like 23, 26 pay-per-views or something crazy,
Yeah.
And it's like, who's trying to watch all this? Like, even with the brand split, like, personal opinion, right?
Right.
When I watch like NXT, right, there's our every 2 or 3 months, something like that.
Right.
So, because I've been catching up on some recently. So you watch one and it's like, okay, this is January takeover. You watch it, some things happen, titles might change hands. And then you watch the next one and say, okay, this is April takeover.
Right.
And you watch and it's like, okay, I remember him winning the belt at the last one. I see that now he's in a feud with this person and it's been building up and apparently this happened. So now they're doing this. And you see the seeds of like what happened in the previous one, who has arrived since that last one, and where things are moving, right? So you're able to look at it and kind of get invested in the story because it's already built up enough, and you're just like, okay, they've had 12 weeks to figure out a way to make me want to watch Gargano versus Ciampa round 3,
right?
And they did it, right? This is the 3rd time they're wrestling in a row on a pay-per-view, though it's over 2 to 3 months, but it's the 3rd time, and I want to see this one as much as I wanted to see the first one.
Right.
But they aren't doing that anymore because they have this stuff every month.
Right. I mean, I think that's what was originally working for NXT, because by them having those long spaces between the pay-per-view, I think that actually works. I actually think we need to cut pay-per-views down more. It's like we still getting 14 a year, give or take. Because well, I really think they were supposed to do Evolution or something like that, like the women's pay-per-view, but whatever happened to that?
Yeah, that should be happening. I mean, because it seems like this is about the time frame, because unless they're gonna because I'd imagine that they'd want nothing too close to SummerSlam
Right.
because they want to leave that open, and was maybe September, I guess. Because is there anything set for October?
Usually what is that? Not No Mercy.
Let's see. Wait, and I think Clash of Champions got changed in some kind of way because I guess according to the internet, that is supposed to be happening in September. Clash of Champions, but I don't know for sure because I'd heard something about it, but I can't remember what it was. You know how you see news and you don't really read it. You see, oh, pay-per-view has changed dates or changed locations or whatever.
Right.
But Clash of Champions, that's the one where they do all the
belts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then wasn't there another one? Like Night or something?
Night of Champions, yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's what yeah. Because I knew that I was familiar with one of those names, but they both sounded right, so I didn't know if I was remembering wrong or what.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's going to be Evolution, which is, man, like, I don't want to sound like I'm, disrespecting the women or whatever, but it's a stretch. It's a stretch and a half to see a pay-per-view that is all women, like, be appealing. You know what I mean? Now, if you're going to go like the older route, right? Like if you want to say, I watched a very old pay-per-view not too long ago, and the total length was like 2 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think when I was looking at SummerSlam today, it might have been about that same length also.
Yeah.
But so if they want to go that route, okay, cool. That's not bad, right? Because if you give, like, say you want to give people 15 to 20 minutes per match,
right?
If it's going to, or maybe longer if it's going to be like the title match, right? Maybe you got like a 3-way in there somewhere. I mean, if you are willing to go with fewer matches so that the show seems like it's overall higher quality, then it could work.
Right.
But a lot of the times, and you've seen it, think about how many shows you've seen where like there's just like match after match after match. You look at the card, you're like, this is going to take 8 hours.
Right.
I mean, like WrestleMania, right?
Right.
It's like, I know you've been to the 2 there in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I can only vouch for the latter one. 30.
That one, well, the first one, what it was, 30 was actually, what I would say, it's hard to gauge. I would say, no, actually, the latter was longer than WrestleMania 30. The last one that was down here, that was actually longer.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if
like I was exhausted, like around what match it was, like that throwaway John Cena Undertaker match. I was already like kind of disconnected a little bit already.
Man, and that was because like I got the card pulled up here, right?
Yeah.
So just going down the line, looking at the match times, like the match length.
Okay.
Starting from the main card, right, which is Seth Rollins versus The Miz and Finn Balor. You got 15 minutes, 13 minutes, 8, 20, 5, 2:45, 15, 10, 30, 4, and then 20. It's like, so you got all these short matches in there. If you're gonna have a 4-minute match in there, like the Braun Strowman and Nicholas versus Cesaro and Sheamus, save that for Raw, right? Because the match time, and when you're watching these things at home, you don't see all that other stuff, you know. It's like, but when you're there, it's like, man, one match ends and it feels like a solid 20 minutes before like the next match starts.
Right.
They're cleaning up. Maybe they're rolling out some big box of booty-os, or like they're inflating like a Jericho list sign, whatever it is they're doing. It's like, man, this is gonna take forever.
Right.
And I get that, like, not all the other match or other pay-per-views are gonna be that long, but they're all structured the same. You know what I mean? So,
What it was? I mean, like I said, I was disconnected. Like, I'd rather do away with the short matches and just extend like staple matches like that Finn Balor, that triple threat match that could have went a little longer. The Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, that was a bust, so that could have been a little longer as well. And what it was, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, that could have went a whole another way itself.
that was 25 minutes. That feels like forever looking at this. And that AJ Styles Nakamura was 27, and that, man,
that could have went a whole other way.
That, like, if I saw AJ Styles Nakamura on like a New Japan card and it said 28 minutes, I'm thinking, man, this is going to be an interesting match.
Right.
But on here, I'm looking, man, that had to have just been drawn out. And then you look at like the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos versus the New Day.
Right.
And that's only 5 minutes. Like, I don't remember anything about that, and that might be why.
And then the Bludgeon Brothers became jobbers.
Yeah, and then jobless.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, that. I mean, they were a good team, though. I'll give them that. But they probably needed like a hype man or something. Well, okay, they needed Bray Wyatt.
Right.
Yeah, so that was.
And, and to answer your question about Evolution, they could always take the scapegoat route, do an all women's battle royal like they do with everything else. They'll stretch some time for them.
Yeah, and because they have some women that can put on some solid matches. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, most of them are in NXT, you know, or the ones that are on the main roster. They just don't get to.
I mean, it's Charlotte, Asuka, Bayley, Sasha. Who else? Like, other than them, who else?
Well, I will say,
Natalia.
While not an amazing wrestler, as far as like being able to still have a match that you don't mind watching, at least me, Carmella, she's pretty all right.
That's fair.
And I mean, they got Bianca Belair now. You know, she can go when she needs or when she's allowed to, I should say.
Right. Mickie James came back.
Yeah, Mickie. Yeah, she's probably my favorite of like the older previous generation or whatever, like that they bring back. And who else? Like, yeah, because like the Ruby Riott also, but they're taking her down on another path.
Yeah.
So, and that's always the crazy part. It's like they hire these people based off of what they can do or what they can do, and then they use them for whatever else.
Right.
It's like, okay, like you're not hiring people anymore. You're just making sure they don't go somewhere else. Let's all just be honest here.
Well, I mean, they hire you based off of your following.
Yeah. It was like, who is it? In NXT, she's kind of like another Asuka in a sense of like popularity.
Io Shirai?
Yes. Because I can always picture the name, and then I'm like, is it Io or Leo? Yeah. Like her. She's good, right? And it's like, what's going to happen eventually when she goes to the main roster? Because Asuka went to the main roster a while ago, and I'm not going to say she was nobody, but it was a while before she really caught on to the point of like people caring. I mean, initially, yes, she did.
Right.
But then she was shut down at WrestleMania 34, right?
Right.
And never quite recovered. She had some title reigns, but whatever.
Nah, but it was obscure. Like it was like throwaway match. Like I said, Charlotte. like you just said, Charlotte could easily be the Triple H of like the women's division, as far as like, okay, we need you to help with this superstar, but you're unintentionally burying them at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a huge mess. And like you want to see everybody do well, but and then strangely enough, when Asuka started just like, change up the mask thing a little bit, add some face paint, speaking more Japanese.
Yeah.
And now she's getting all the attention.
Right.
It's like she could have had this before,
Right.
like what's the problem? Why didn't you guys just let her do that? And then they brought in Kairi Sane, which was good because she was one of those people that, again, everybody was already on board.
Right.
But then you only gave them reasons not to watch.
Right.
It's like if they take your favorite show and like, oh, you like everything about this? We're gonna change the setting. We're gonna change the cast. We're gonna change we're gonna have a whole different plot.
Right.
It's not about the Winslows anymore. Now they all work in a burger restaurant. It's like, what? It's like, okay, I guess I'll watch because I hope that it will get good again.
Right.
And that's where a lot of it comes down to.
Right. And I'm trying to see, and I still don't understand this whole Otis with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he's not doing nothing with it.
Because like when he came out at SummerSlam, at first I thought like, wait, is there going to be a twist? Well, then I'm like, wait, there's not even a title in the ring. What is he doing here?
That's crazy though. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to understand multitudes of this, because like, what Mandy Rose? What are we doing with her? What are we doing with the Money in the Bank briefcase? What are we doing with well, Biggie probably is the best thing going on right now.
Well, I don't know how it works, but I guess they could, like, Otis could technically cash in on the tag titles, right? No?
I don't think so, but I mean, who, like...
Because I thought it was just like for any title.
I thought it was for any world title, but I mean, if they change the verbiage, I'm all for it.
But then again, they are world tag team champs,
right?
So I could
world titles, right?
That could be an interesting twist, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? If they take him and throw him into like and let's see, however this match plays out that he's in.
Right.
If he cashes in right afterwards, assuming they don't win.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're supposed to be in like have a title shot at some point, but that could be interesting,
Yeah, I'm for it. Like I said, however they want to use it, dress it up, or whatever the case may be, I'm all for it.
Yeah, because having him be as it stands right now, right?
Right.
Nobody sees him interrupting anything that's going on with either world title.
Right.
I mean, throwing him into like that Bray and Braun and Roman thing, there's too much stuff happening over there.
Right.
And then him going into the middle of McIntyre and Orton, it's not too much. It's just it's too different.
Right.
Now, if it was, I don't know, if it'd have to be a completely different person or different demeanor. You know what I mean?
It would be like Scotty 2 Hotty interrupting the Rock and Triple H.
Yeah, right. So now I will say there's some gray area champs, right?
Right.
Where like if he tried to go in and if this was last year, go cash in on Kofi, it's like Kofi can kind of play either way.
Right.
Right. So there could be some gray area there. But I don't know, man. I want to believe that the guy can do all right, but it's just seeing him go up against anybody right now. Yeah, and then it wouldn't make sense to go like for a single, like the European or whatever. Not European. You got rid of that a while ago. What belt? What that? Intercontinental.
Yeah.
Man, European. I mean, if he wants to break it out of the vault, I guess.
Bring it back. Yeah, bring that title back.
So I don't know what it was, but I liked the way the European title looked. It was kind of one of my favorite visuals.
Yeah.
And I was reading something the other day about Al Snow, and I guess while he was the European champ, he went through like a phase where he would come out with ring music based on different European countries.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see any of that? I didn't.
I know. Every week that was on Raw, I believe.
Yeah.
Or Heat. It was one of them because like once certain people got certain belts, like the light heavyweight belt and the European belt, I only seen them on Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes me think like Taka Michinoku and stuff.
Yeah.
Start bringing up Sunday Night Heat. I mean,
yeah, Raven was on Sunday Night Heat every week, so it was like, oh man.
Sunday Night Heat was kind of, I don't know. That was that's kind of where what I think of when I think of gauntlet matches. Honestly, like the match that like the sneaker battle thing was last week.
Yeah,
like that's what I was thinking of because I know they have the different ones where it's like sometimes like because they had one with Farouk where it's like you go through everybody. You go through the nation to get to like the boss, right? And then they have the ones where it's just like random selection and stuff. So that's, obviously we went the latter route. But when I think gauntlet matches, I think Sunday Night Heat. That's like still to this day.
Sunday Night Heat was all. Sunday Night Heat was. It was awesome. It was underrated. It was underrated. We'll probably be underrated now, but that was an awesome show.
Yeah,
like for what it was.
Yeah, it was like I would actually look forward to. It was one of those. It was a non-main weekly show that you looked forward to.
Right.
Now it's like, I mean, I know they have main event or superstars. Is it main event? Main event, yeah.
Yeah, main event.
And I have no idea what time or what channel. I don't even know if I have main event. Like I don't like on cable.
I think it comes on. I think it's a network exclusive now.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Because let's see.
Hell, main event had the potential to be a good midweek show.
Yeah, that's because what was it? Within the last 2 months before Shelton Benjamin started doing what he's doing right now.
Right.
He had put out a tweet that said, "Hey, if you guys are kind of looking for something else to watch, I'm putting on a clinic every week on main event." So, and I could see that, because it's main event. So
right.
It's like a house show, but they still got to play to the crowd a little bit.
Right.
Or play like the viewers a little bit. But
I don't know in your area what it was called, but there was Jacked, WWE Jack at the time. That was like another hour-long recap / wrestle show.
I remember the name and I can picture the sign, but I can't remember watching it.
Yeah, I know in certain places they called it Jack. Down here they called it Metal. I don't know why. I don't know what was the big difference between the show because it was the same match.
I didn't know that was the same show because I thought I know of both names. I thought it was just two different shows.
Nah, it was the same show because it'd be the same match.
Huh. It's crazy because I remember like when I was living overseas, I remember seeing some show over there. I don't know what it was. I've never seen it since. Well, have I? No, I don't think I've seen it since, or at least not in a long time. But I was watching. Actually, no, I saw it once when I lived in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching it, and they just showed like this random match. There's like some random wrestling show. They showed this random match, and I'm trying to place it, trying to figure out like what is this? It was a match that involved like CM Punk, Alberto Del Rio, and Mysterio as a build up to like a Money in the Bank match. I'm thinking like, man, when did this happen? Because Mysterio was nowhere to be found on the current roster. Like, they're just showing this random match from years ago. What is? I mean, they've got a backlog for days though.
Yeah, it was definitely what it was. I think the last good match they had on there was what that was the last time I looked at it. It was the Hardy Boys, and this was before they left the company.
Man, that was
a long time ago.
Yeah. And speaking of being underused, like it would have taken no thought whatsoever to ride that WrestleMania 33 momentum after they came back.
Oh yeah.
All they had to do, I mean, they just had to put them on TV. You know?
Yeah.
Just get them in some matches with some of the people that have popped up since then. Maybe the occasional like older tag team match that, you know, just kind of reignite that feud from time to time, right?
Correct.
But they could have easily kept the Hardys as people you wanted to see, made the title reign mean something, and even if they beat people for a while, it wouldn't have seemed like they were running right through everybody. Because like I feel like they could have played it the right way.
Right.
Because I could see them coming in and beating like the Bar, which was a good tag team, you know.
Right. I see that as well.
I could see them beating the Usos, which again was a good tag team, and neither of them losing any momentum.
I think it was probably more. I think
what's going on? Gone AWOL.
Huh?
No, Gone AWOL was just like jumping in.
Now I was saying, I think it had more to do with like the Hardys being injury prone now, since they're a little bit older now.
Yeah.
So I don't think they want to push them because look what happened. They won the tag team titles and had to relinquish them like that same week because Jeff got hurt.
Oh, anyway, yeah, I didn't even remember what happened. I just know that they were there for a while, and it just didn't matter.
Right.
And then they did like the Matt Hardy thing, and they just totally destroyed the legacy of his broken character.
Oh my God.
That was like people were on board initially with him versus Bray Wyatt, and then they made a joke out of it.
Well, I mean, I was fine with like if they want. I was fine with the acquisition of that team, Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. I was fine with it. I just wasn't okay with like Bray Wyatt is a former WWE champion. Like that's where I had my problem. Like I still want him to have his edge to him.
Exactly. That's the thing I was saying before. It's like you have something that not everybody does, right?
Right.
And for him, it's the same thing with like Ziggler, right?
Correct.
It happened to you kind of could put The Miz in that category too.
Yeah.
Because he had the belt. I remember that WrestleMania where he got like him or John Cena got like knocked out or something.
Wait,
because it was a WrestleMania match between him and John Cena, but one of them, I think, was The Miz, got hit in the head and kind of blacked out and doesn't remember most of the match or something.
Gotcha.
I don't remember what year that was though. I have to look and see. I guess 27. What was that? 2011.
Oh wow, 2011.
Yeah, something weird happened. But yeah, there's just some people that they win the title and like the extent of it mattering is when they say, "Oh, it's a former champion, so and so."
Right. I mean, I feel like they buried John Morrison at the expense of making The Miz great at that point.
Yeah, and The Miz and Morrison that's a tag team that I mean, I like them. I just feel like they're a little too much of a joke right now
Right.
to be taken serious enough.
Right.
And because like you look at the New Day, and obviously like, they are very much like a joking tag team, but when the time makes sense, they put that to the side and it's like, okay, now it's down to business. Kind of like how Brazongo has been lately.
Right.
Like they finally won the tag titles, which is great in my opinion. And they've finally been treated good. You know, it's not like yeah, because you know how sometimes people like just win the title. It's just like,
Right.
oh, that came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they actually like built them up a bit and then put them on. Because I don't know how much NXT you watch, but I started being more on the loop lately, and
yeah,
they've been
I'm
solid.
slowly getting back into it.
Okay, yeah, because they've been solid for the last probably like a month or two. Because they came in, they're like, all right, we got to make a change. Like we're still gonna be us up until we get in the ring, and then after the bell. But we gotta have that extra edge.
Right.
And they put it in as part of their storyline. And sure enough, like they're all fun and games, and the bell rings, they take care of business, and then they go back to being them, and it works.
How long have they been together? About 5, almost 4 years now.
Man, like I just posted a picture with them. When was 34? Was that 2018?
2017, 2018, yeah.
So, because they've been together since then, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly a year before that. So it could be a good 3.5-ish, maybe. That they've been doing.
That's a long time for any tag team to like stay together without having like a belt.
In this day and age, especially.
Right.
Yeah.
Like look what happened to Enzo and
Big Cass.
Big Cass, yeah. Like they were together for years and still ain't win the belt.
Yeah, that is. But then you look at other people that are just as well. Some people that aren't even as over as they were.
Right.
And it means nothing. Like, I mean, I'm curious how many wins. Who was that? Chad Gable and what's that black
Jason
dude?
Jordan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that was a great team. I feel like they probably didn't have many reigns either. I mean, any. Well, I know they had some, but like not many. You know what I mean? Where it was like their legacy made them a team that really counted. Like when Jericho says, "I've been Intercontinental Champion like 9 times over the last like 20 years," blah blah blah. So, man, it'd be really nice if they just kind of let people get built up in that way. Not that everybody needs the belt, but some people, it's the only thing that is holding them back from being like the team.
Right. Well, their solution is get 2 singles wrestlers, put them in a team, let them hold the belt because we don't have nothing to do with them.
Yeah, and I will say those little makeshift teams have often worked, like Ziggler and Rude.
Yeah.
You know, like they're pretty solid. You can't lie.
Ziggler and McIntyre worked. That worked.
Oh yeah. Rude and Gable.
Yeah, Rude and Gable.
Weird at first, but that one works too.
Right. Hell, Gable and Benjamin, that worked.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah. So they can do it. They just don't. Oh well. But let's see. It's about 7:40. Probably get this wrapped up so we can go ahead and jump in the chat on the Who Has the Heat thing in about
15 minutes.
8:30. Well, yeah, because I'm gonna see if this video is finished processing, go and possibly publish that, and then jump in there hopefully.
Oh, right. Yeah, that ain't no problem.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was good talking to you, of course, and have to talk with Derek, make sure we're still good for the figure thing tomorrow.
Oh yeah, because I have something to address on that one tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I saw, yes. Yeah, so I mean, if he's still not around or whatever, we can still do it. I just want to see if he's going to be around for it. And then I might, I'll see what McFly is doing. If McFly is online doing his live tomorrow night, because sometimes he does that during pay-per-views, then I might just jump in on his possibly. But otherwise,
if I can find those comments, I'm in a figure group on Facebook. I'm gonna look for that post. I'm gonna screenshot a few of them because it's crazy, man. It was crazy. You seen? Yeah, you already seen what I posted today. So
yeah, I just saw that, but I didn't. It was close to this, and I was like, I'll come back to it a little bit.
Yeah,
we'll have some things to talk about. That is for sure. Relevant topics. That's why that's a part of the show. All right, man. I will catch up with you a little bit later. Have a good rest of the night.
You do the same.
All right, later, man.
Later.
Let's see.